The movie starts with Lucy's boyfriend, Richard, wanting her to drop off a package to Mr. Jiang at a hotel. He doesn't say what's inside and asks her to trust him. When she keeps asking, he says it's just papers locked with a pin only Mr. Jiang knows. He promises $11,000 for it, offering to split it if she helps. Despite her refusal, he handcuffs her to the case, giving her $500 upfront. Annoyed, she heads to the reception. At the reception, cuffed to the case, she pretends to be Richard to see Mr. Jiang. Richard stands nearby. The receptionist follows Mr. Jiang's orders, keeping Lucy in place. Men in black suits arrive, shoot Richard, bribe the receptionist, and take Lucy to Mr. Jiang's room. In the room, Lucy runs into Mr. Jiang in the middle of him doing some awful stuff, and she gets sick to her stomach at the sight of it. Mr. Jiang comes out all bloody, talking to his crew in Korean, which Lucy doesn't get. She tries to say she's just here to drop off the box and bounce, not wanting any trouble. She asks desperately for someone who speaks English to help her out. Mr. Jiang gets someone on the phone who speaks both languages to talk for him. He wants Lucy to spill what's in the case. She swears she doesn't know, got dragged into this mess. Then he scribbles a number down and leaves with his crew. The translator tells Lucy to crack open the case with the code. Everyone else in the room clears out, waiting for her to pop it open. Jiang admits he's hiding because he doesn't trust some guy named Richard. Lucy's not trusting either, especially since she's only been with him a week, which amps up her fear. Scared out of her wits, Lucy's forced to open it. Inside, she finds 4 see-through bags filled with blue stuff. She tells the guy on the phone, who tells Jiang what's up, and then Jiang comes out of hiding to grab the case from Lucy and test the goods. They bring in some poor soul to sniff the blue stuff. He acts like he's losing his mind, laughing like crazy and drooling everywhere after a whiff. Jiang puts a bullet in his head. Then he offers Lucy a job. She sobs that she doesn't want it, but his crew knocks her out cold anyway. In a classroom, a teacher explains that most people only use about 10% of their brain power. He mentions that dolphins, on the other hand, use around 20%, which helps them have super efficient echolocation. Lucy wakes up in a strange room, wearing only her underwear, with bandages stained with blood on her stomach. She meets Mr. Jiang and his crew, along with a guy who seems to be a doctor. They tell her they've put a pouch of a drug called CPH4 in her belly, but assure her they didn't mess with her organs. Others with the same drug in them are brought in, thanked, given passports and flight tickets, and warned to deliver the drugs to Europe or else their families will be in trouble. They cover their faces and send them off, sticking to their shady business model. Later, Lucy regains consciousness in a different place. She tries to keep her cool until she lands, but upon arrival, she's accosted by 2 men speaking Mandarin. One of them tries to sexually assault her, but she fights back. He beats her up badly, causing the drug pouch in her belly to burst. The drug floods her system, causing violent spasms. During a class presentation, the professor explained that if someone manages to use 20% of their brain, they can gain control over their body. Our bodies have around 100 billion neurons, but we only use 15% of our brain's capacity to access them. There's a vast network of information in our bodies that we can't tap into until we reach a certain percentage of brain usage. At 40%, a person can start controlling others and even manipulate matter. A curious student asked what happens at 100% brain capacity, but the professor didn't have an answer. Meanwhile, Lucy regained consciousness and quietly observed. Later, a man entered Lucy's prison. She lured him in, knocked him out, and broke free thanks to the drug's effects. After escaping, she took out a bullet from her arm and then went on a rampage, killing everyone and devouring their food with her bare hands. She gathered their weapons and left. Spotting 2 taxi drivers, she asked if they spoke English. She shot one who said no and forced the other to take her to a hospital. On the way, she discovered she could hear distant phone conversations clearly. Upon reaching the hospital, she instructed the driver to wait as she entered. She realized she could understand foreign signs and languages. Despite ongoing brain surgery, she entered the operating room. They urged her to leave, but she insisted on their urgent attention. She examined the patient's brain scans and determined the tumor had spread too far for survival. She demanded the surgeon remove a leaked drug from her system. Without anesthesia, she instructed the doctor to proceed with the treatment. Mid-surgery, she phoned her mom. She explained to her mom that she could sense everything around her, even the earth's spin, vibrations, gravity, warmth leaving her body, blood flowing in her veins, and even her thoughts. She claimed she could recall everything since her birth, even the moment she was born. Although her mom couldn't grasp it all, Lucy kept talking, recounting memories from childhood, including breastfeeding. Then, she thanked her mom for all her love and ended the call. She found out the drug was gone, with only 500 grams left. Asking the doctor how much remained in her system, he needed to know the drug. She revealed it was CPH4. The doctor explained that pregnant women naturally produce CPH4 in tiny amounts during the 6th week of pregnancy to help the baby's bone formation, likening its action to an atomic bomb. Shockingly, he stated she should be dead from the leaked amount, to which she replied, "Not for long." Leaving the hospital, Lucy notices the tree roots poking through the ground, linking up with the rest of the tree. She heads to see Mr. Jiang. Taking out his crew, she barges into his room. He's chilling out, pampering his skin. Lucy traps his hands with 2 knives and spills her guts about the drug's effects on her. She demands info about the other's whereabouts. When he clams up, she delves into his memories with a touch. She gathered the info she needed and discovered that the rest were going to Berlin, Paris, and Rome, based on their flight tickets. Lucy visited her friend, borrowing her laptop. As her friend chatted about her day, Lucy already knew everything. She delved into her own research and stumbled upon Professor Nelson's work. She promptly called him, informing him she'd gone through his 6,000-page research and detailed her situation. He didn't believe her and thought it was a prank by his daughter's pal. She tried to convince him she read every single page of his 6,734-page research and knows it all by heart. Then she took control of his TV and stayed on a video call with him. When he asked how, she said she could handle basic stuff like the TV, laptop, and phone, showing up on all of them, even radios and lights. She also mentioned she doesn't feel pain, fear, or any human emotions and feels her time of death is near because of the overwhelming knowledge in her brain. So, the professor suggested she share her knowledge with everyone, like a simple cell passing through time. Then she said she'd be back in 12 hours. Lucy handed her friend a printed prescription, saying her kidneys and liver are failing and she needs lifestyle changes. Then she left. Lucy went on the run when she became a wanted person. She changed her appearance and stayed hidden. She got in touch with the military, pretending to be right there with them. She shared info about other drug smugglers carrying CPH4 and warned them about its potency. Lucy also mentioned she'd need the drugs later. She sent all this to the detective's computer. As each smuggler arrived at the airport, the military nabbed them. One smuggler tried to escape but got caught eventually. Lucy's brain was now functioning at 40%. She was on a plane, feeling her body disappear after sipping champagne. Panicked, she hid in the restroom, feeling like she was falling apart. Desperate, she took more CPH4. The flight attendants tried to coax her out, but she wouldn't budge. Lucy woke up in a hospital bed in Paris. A nurse barged in, shocked to see her awake and alive. Hurrying off to inform the doctor and Del Real, an officer Lucy had spoken to earlier, who happened to be at the hospital. She quickly got dressed, ready to leave, but Del Real and his crew blocked her path. He ordered her to halt, but she insisted on a private conversation. Despite his orders to surrender, she effortlessly put all the armed men to sleep with a mere gesture, without even touching them. Extracting the bullet that had grazed her, Lucy demanded to speak to Rio. Confirming he had the packages, Rio disclosed their location, yet Lucy insisted they'd be safer in her possession. Operating at only half her brain's capacity, Lucy entered Rio's car. Observing a surge in phone signals, she honed in on Mr. Zhang's location. Armed with this intel, she implored Del Real to let her drive, but he refused, citing it was a police vehicle. Undeterred, she used her abilities to relocate him to the passenger seat without laying a finger on him. Taking the wheel, Lucy drove recklessly, disregarding traffic rules and causing collisions, as they were already behind schedule. When Rio inquired about her driving experience, she confessed she'd never driven before but stressed the urgency of reaching their destination promptly. Mr. Zhang's crew hit the hospital, shooting cops and anyone who got in their way while grabbing the drugs from their own traffickers. They offed the traffickers after each grab. Some cops chased them, but Lucy caused them to crash. Lucy took out all the obstacles and soldiers, reaching the hospital. She asked the man with the case for it, but he refused and ordered his men to attack. Lucy, now using 60% of her brain, easily subdued the men with her bare hands. She grabbed the harvested drugs and the last one herself. When Rio suggested she go alone because she's capable, she kissed him and told him to come along. She set the map to the professor's location. Just then, Mr. Zhang arrived, missing Lucy and the drug. She called the professor, and she and Rio headed to meet him. The professor had summoned other top experts to help understand Lucy's situation. When he introduced them, she claimed she already knew them and everything else due to her vast knowledge. She demonstrated by recalling a past event involving one of the men's daughters. Lucy shared some insights about life, time, and science, impressing everyone. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang gathered his remaining men to go after Lucy at the university. Lucy asked Rio to watch the door while she stayed with the professors. Mr. Zhang took out all the guards outside who tried to block him. His crew searched every room to find Lucy, leaving no one alive. Lucy urged the professors to pump the remaining drugs into her body to boost her brain to 100% capacity. She planned to transfer all her knowledge to a computer before she died. The professor hesitated, worried about the amount of drugs and the impact on humanity. Mr. Zhang's men kept eliminating anyone in their path to Lucy and the drugs. Rio and other officers waited, ready to confront them. All the drugs were inside Lucy. Then, black liquid began spreading from Lucy's body, enveloping everything in the room, including the computers. The room turned blank, with nothing left. The liquid formed a state-of-the-art computer, according to the professor. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang's men and the police exchanged gunfire outside as he attempted to break in and the officers fought to stop him. One of Mr. Zhang's guys shoots explosives, sending Lucy's chair and body back in time. She travels through centuries, ending up in a techless era before humans, before anything existed. Eventually, she encounters a monkey species. Upon touching one, she returns to her present, where she's inputting data into a computer. As her brain nears full capacity at 99%, Mr. Zhang threatens her with a gun. When he reaches 100%, he shoots, but Lucy's body disappears, leaving only her clothes. Jen causes chaos, aiming to shoot the professors, but Rio intervenes, saving them. The futuristic computer structure extends a flash drive to Professor Nelson, containing all the knowledge Lucy gained. After passing a message via Rio's phone, Lucy claims to be omnipresent. Turn on alerts, like, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Thank you for watching.